I'm Keith Olbermann, and this is The Resistance. The best ancillary part of the last 2 days is Trump still doesn't seem to realize that his former campaign manager is being indicted under a stack of charges, including conspiracy against the United States of America. Trump also doesn't seem to realize that Bob Mueller has an informant, one of the first 5 names Trump ever announced on his foreign policy team, who says the Russians offered him dirt on Hillary Clinton and thousands of Clinton emails and tried to get Trump to meet with Putin directly. Trump also doesn't seem to realize that while the Manafort indictment never mentions Trump's name, there is that little phrase at the end about Manafort and Gates, quote, together with others, knowingly and intentionally conspired to defraud the United States. Together with others. Others, like Papadopoulos's European professor and the female Russian national. If he's the professor, she's either Marianne or Ginger. Like Kushner, Trump Jr., Flynn, Page, Bannon, the Mercers, the entire Cambridge Analytica stable. There's potentially all sorts of fish out there to indict later, as Manafort squirms and developments warrant. And then there is the other possibility, the mega indictment possibility, the MOAC, the MOAC possibility, the mother of all Christmases. I will defer entirely to Barbara McQuaid, former U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Michigan, now law professor at the University of Michigan. Last Friday night, writing for the Daily Beast, she quietly dropped this bomb. One extreme scenario is that the sealed indictment charges President Trump himself. It is possible that Mueller has had sufficient time to complete his investigation of obstruction of justice against the president. The obstruction case would involve a somewhat isolated series of events that are less complex than the larger interference investigation. While the law is unclear under DOJ policy, a sitting president cannot be held to answer to criminal charges in court and may only be impeached. One way to handle that scenario is to indict him now, seal the indictment, and unseal it on the day he leaves office by impeachment or otherwise. In light of the complexities and importance of the case, however, it seems unlikely that Mueller has reached this point yet. Wow. On the subject of including a sitting president in an indictment, in February 1974, the Watergate grand jury, told by prosecutors that it could not indict Richard Nixon, did secretly include him in other indictments, listing him as an unindicted co-conspirator. The special prosecutor who brought Nixon down, the second one, Leon Jaworski, later said he actually used the threat of exposing Nixon's unindicted co-conspirator status as leverage to get the White House to release some of the Watergate tapes. So Mueller, acting in some way directly against Trump, is still on this table. There is something else former U.S. Attorney McQuaid wrote that you should consider for whenever further indictments are handed up, handed down, or handed over. Justice Department policy states clearly that it's not enough just to get a grand jury to indict the proverbial ham sandwich, that you can only file charges if there is a reasonable likelihood of a conviction at a trial. If you indict them, in other words, you'd better be able to get a jury to convict them. Or, if they're unindicted co-conspirators, you better have significant justification for naming them, such as evidence that you intend to submit that ties them to the indicted parties. So, until the next shoes drop, Professor, keep your mind occupied however you best can. Me, I like to watch this From Russia with Love Trump FBI raid mashup video by the guy with the Twitter handle 11 clone that I keep tweeting about. I like to watch it like every 2 hours or so. Or you can just read this one tweet aloud, as if it was sent by a terrified man stuck in quicksand. Do something! Yeah, do something. Specifically, resist, remove, peace. Now, you could just buy my book based on these commentaries. We'll be working on a version in Russian that you can send to the professor.